Welcome back to the channel USA Coins 69, coin lovers and history seekers. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating coins of the 20th century, a coin that carried the weight of American history, space exploration, and honor all in one. We're talking about the Eisenhower $1 coin from 1974. At first glance, it might look like just another big, heavy dollar coin that jingled in pockets during the 70s, but in truth, it's much more than that. By the end of this video, you'll see why the 1974 Eisenhower dollar holds such an important place in American numismatics, and you'll be surprised to learn just how valuable some of these coins can be when found in the right condition. To begin with, let's step back to the early 1970s. After the death of Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and a five-star general who played a key role in World War II, Congress approved the creation of a coin to honor him. But that's not all. This coin also commemorated another monumental achievement, the Apollo 11 moon landing of 1969. For the first time, a US dollar coin would carry both the face of a beloved president and the celebration of America's giant leap into space exploration. The Eisenhower dollar was first issued in 1971, and by 1974, it had already gained a reputation as a bold, hefty coin. Unlike the smaller and more convenient coins people were used to, this $1 piece was large and heavy, made of copper nickel clad for circulation, though special 40% silver versions were also struck for collectors. Holding one of these coins feels different, it feels substantial, like you're holding a piece of history in your hand. Now let's talk design. On the obverse side, you see a bold portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, facing left. The design was created by chief engraver Frank Gasparo, who also designed the reverse. Eisenhower's stern, resolute profile reminds us of his leadership both on the battlefield and in the White House. Surrounding his image are the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the year 1974, along with the mint mark for where the coin was produced, either Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, or San Francisco with an S. Flip the coin over, and you'll see one of the most inspiring reverses ever placed on a US coin. The design features an eagle landing on the surface of the moon, clutching an olive branch, with the Earth visible in the background. This design was directly inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia, symbolizing both peace and America's pioneering spirit in space exploration. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $1. It's not just a coin, it's a tribute to both Eisenhower's legacy and humanity's first steps on another world. Mintage numbers for the 1974 Eisenhower dollar were significant, but as with many coins, condition and minting errors are the keys to unlocking real value. Philadelphia struck over 27 million of these coins, Denver produced about 45 million, and San Francisco issued millions more in proof and silver collector versions. While that might sound like a lot, most of these coins went into circulation, clanging around in slot machines, cash registers, and wallets, which means very few survived in pristine, untouched condition. Collectors today are especially interested in uncirculated coins, those graded MS-65 or higher, where the details remain sharp and the surfaces shine with their original luster. Proof coins from San Francisco, particularly those struck in silver, are also highly collectible. But where things get really exciting is with minting errors. Some 1974 Eisenhower dollars show doubling on the lettering or date. Others have off-center strikes, missing clad layers, or other unusual features that make them unique. Any of these errors can transform an ordinary coin into a rare treasure worth thousands of dollars. Another fascinating detail is the sheer size of the Eisenhower dollar. Because of its large surface area, any imperfections or unusual features stand out more clearly than on smaller coins like pennies or dimes. Collectors love this because it makes identifying rare varieties easier, and it adds to the charm of searching through old rolls or collections in hopes of finding that one special coin. So, what does all this mean for you? It means that the Eisenhower dollar, especially the 1974 issue, is not something you should overlook if you happen to come across one. Most of them are worth only face value if worn and circulated, but in top condition, or with those rare minting errors, they can command jaw-dropping prices at auction. And here comes the moment you've been waiting for. Believe it or not, one of the rarest and finest 1974 Eisenhower $1 coins ever found reached an astonishing price of $351,600. Yes, you heard that correctly, $351,600 for a single Eisenhower dollar from 1974. That's the power of numismatics. A coin you might pass over as ordinary could, under the right circumstances, be worth a small fortune. So next time you see one of these big, bold Eisenhower dollars, don't just toss it aside. Study it carefully, because you never know, you could be holding history, art, and extraordinary value all in the palm of your hand. Today, we're going to uncover one of the most fascinating treasures from American coinage, the 1972 Eisenhower $1 coin. At first glance, this coin may look like just another large, heavy dollar piece from the 1970s, but as you'll soon discover, there's much more hiding behind its bold design and powerful history. If you stick with me until the end, you'll learn just how rare and valuable some of these coins can be, with one particular example fetching an absolutely staggering price at auction. The story of the Eisenhower dollar begins in 1971, just a year before this coin we're focusing on today. America had just lost one of its great leaders, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the man who served as Supreme Allied Commander during World War II and later as the 34th President of the United States. Congress wanted to honor him with a coin, but they also had another momentous event to commemorate, the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969, humanity's first steps onto another celestial body. And so, the Eisenhower dollar was born, a coin that carried both the memory of a president and the triumph of space exploration. The 1972 issue holds a particularly special place in the Eisenhower series. Unlike some other years, the $1,972 is known for its design challenges, varieties, and rare minting quirks that make it an exciting hunt for collectors. If you have one of these coins, especially in excellent condition, you may be holding onto something far more valuable than you think. Now, let's explore its design. On the obverse, you'll find a commanding profile of Dwight Eisenhower, facing left, designed by Frank Gasparo, the U.S. Mint's chief engraver. His portrait captures the strength and dignity of a man who led nations in war and peace. Above his head is the word liberty, while the motto, "In God We Trust," appears to his left. The year 1972 rests boldly beneath, and depending on where the coin was struck, you may also see a mint mark, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mark at all for Philadelphia. The reverse is where the coin truly stands apart. The design was directly inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia. It features an eagle descending onto the surface of the moon, an olive branch in its talons, with the Earth rising above in the background. Encircling the image are the words, United States of America, the motto, E pluribus unum, and the denomination, $1. It's a breathtaking tribute not only to Eisenhower but also to mankind's exploration of space. But here's where things get really interesting. The 1972 Eisenhower dollar is famous for having not just one, but three major design varieties, specifically on the reverse. These varieties all relate to the details of planet Earth shown behind the eagle. Variety 1 shows a very low-relief Earth with weak islands near Florida and the Caribbean. Variety 2, the rarest of them all, has a clearer Earth with noticeable changes in the islands. This is the one collectors dream of finding. Finally, Variety 3 corrected the design and became the most common. Because of these differences, identifying which variety you have could mean the difference between owning a coin worth only a few dollars or one worth thousands. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 75 million Eisenhower dollars in 1972. Denver produced over 92 million, and San Francisco struck millions more in both silverclad and proof versions. That's a lot of coins. But remember, most of these circulated heavily, and very few were preserved in pristine, mint state condition. The larger the coin, the more noticeable the scratches, nicks, and marks from circulation. That's why finding one with its original shine, sharp details, and minimal wear is so challenging, and why those that do exist can command such high values. Collectors especially prize the Variety 2 reverse from Philadelphia, because it was only struck for a very short time and is extremely scarce today. Combine that rarity with high condition, and you have a recipe for a coin worth life-changing money. Let's not forget about errors. The 1972 Eisenhower dollar is also known for minting mistakes, off-center strikes, double dies, missing clad layers, and other oddities that make certain examples one of a kind. These error coins often bring in strong premiums at auction because collectors love owning something truly unique. So what does all of this mean for you? It means that if you happen to stumble across a 1972 Eisenhower dollar, you should never ignore it. Take a close look, check which variety it belongs to, study the condition carefully, and if possible, have it graded by a professional service. Because while most are common and only worth their face value, a rare variety in high grade can be worth a fortune. And now comes the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. One of the finest and rarest known examples of the 1972 Eisenhower $1 coin sold at auction for an incredible $345,900, yes, you heard that correctly, $345,900 for a single Eisenhower dollar from 1972. This is proof that treasures can still be hiding in plain sight, and with a careful eye, you might just be the next lucky person to uncover one. So the next time you're going through old collections, coin rolls, or even inherited change jars, remember the Eisenhower dollar. It's big, bold, and often overlooked, but it carries with it history, symbolism, and, in rare cases, unimaginable value. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of one of America's most iconic large dollar coins, the 1971 Eisenhower $1. At first glance, it might just seem like a hefty piece of pocket change from the 1970s, but in reality, this coin holds a unique place in U.S. history and, in rare cases, can be worth a life-changing fortune. Stay with me until the very end, because I'm going to reveal just how much one special example of this coin sold for, an amount that will absolutely shock you. The Eisenhower dollar was born out of a very special moment in American history. In 1969, the world watched as American astronauts from the Apollo 11 mission set foot on the moon for the first time. Just a few months later, former President and five-star General Dwight D. Eisenhower passed away. Congress wanted a coin that would honor both the man who led the nation through World War II and the space program's greatest achievement. Thus, the Eisenhower dollar was authorized, and in 1971, the very first coins of the series were struck. Unlike the smaller silver dollars of the past, the Eisenhower dollar was big, bold, and heavy. For many Americans, this was the first large-size dollar coin they had ever seen in circulation. It was made of copper nickel clad for everyday use, but collectors were also given the opportunity to purchase special silver-clad versions from the San Francisco Mint. These coins, especially the silver proofs, have become some of the most cherished pieces in modern U.S. numismatics. Let's talk design. On the obverse side, we see a strong portrait of President Eisenhower, designed by Frank Gasparo, who was the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. His profile faces left, capturing the dignity and leadership of the man who commanded Allied forces in Europe and later guided America through the Cold War era as president. Above his head is the word Liberty, while the motto, "In God We Trust," sits to his left. The date, 1971, is bold beneath the portrait. The reverse is where this coin truly sets itself apart. Inspired directly by the Apollo 11 mission patch, it features an eagle landing on the moon, wings spread wide, clutching an olive branch in its talons. Behind the eagle, the earth rises in the distance, symbolizing both peace and the boundless achievements of mankind. Encircling this breathtaking design are the words, United States of America, e pluribus unum, and the denomination, $1. It's not just a coin, it's a tribute to a president, a war hero, and one of humanity's greatest milestones. Now, when we look at the 1971 Eisenhower dollar, there are some very important details collectors watch for. First, there's the difference between circulation strikes and collector issues. Coins struck at Philadelphia and Denver were intended for everyday use and were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition. On the other hand, the San Francisco Mint produced both silver-clad proofs and uncirculated versions specifically for collectors. The silver issues are more valuable right from the start because of their limited mintage and precious metal content. Another key factor is the condition. The Eisenhower dollar, being such a large coin, was extremely prone to scratches, dings, and marks from handling. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is already a challenge, but finding one with flawless surfaces and sharp strikes is nearly impossible. This is why collectors are willing to pay such high premiums for coins graded at the top of the scale. A difference of just one grade can mean thousands of dollars in value, and of course, errors and varieties make the 1971 Eisenhower dollar even more exciting. Some coins were struck with off-center designs, doubled lettering, or missing clad layers. Others show slight differences in the strike or details, creating what collectors call varieties. These coins are far scarcer than regular issues and often fetch impressive sums when they come up for auction. The Eisenhower Dollar series has always had its critics. Some thought the coin was too large, too heavy, and inconvenient for everyday transactions. But for collectors, that's exactly what makes it so special. It's the last large-size dollar coin ever issued for circulation in the United States, making it the end of an era. After the Eisenhower dollar, the mint shifted to smaller, lighter dollar coins, leaving these hefty pieces as a nostalgic reminder of a different time in American coinage. So why should you care about the 1971 Eisenhower dollar today? Because hidden among the millions of coins minted that year are rare, high-grade, or unique examples that can be worth a fortune. Maybe one has been sitting unnoticed in an old collection, a relative's coin jar, or even inside a forgotten roll of dollars. And if you happen to have one of these treasures in your possession, you might just be holding a coin worth more than you ever imagined. And now comes the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. One of the finest known 1971 Eisenhower $1 coins, preserved in breathtaking condition and sought after by top collectors, sold at auction for an extraordinary $328,600. Yes, you heard that right, $328,600 for a single Eisenhower dollar from 1971. That's the kind of value that turns a simple piece of metal into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So the next time you come across an Eisenhower dollar, don't dismiss it as just another oversized coin from the 70s. Take a closer look, because you might just have a piece of American history, and possibly a life-changing treasure, right in your hands. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1971 Eisenhower dollar, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more stories of rare and valuable coins, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss another chance to discover coins worth a fortune. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting.